If your makeup isn't makeuping, maybe you're just not doing the right makeup for your animal face. Think I have a narrow eye, low nose bridge, big lips, and I have a rounded chin. I'm BABA, which makes me a cat. So let's do some cat eye makeup. Cat eye makeup is known for its lift and snatch, so we're gonna do a lifted contour. We're also gonna place our concealer in these areas to give us a facelift. Just look at the difference. And I'm gonna place my blush right here between my under eye and above my contour. And I'm gonna be careful not to blend it downwards. I love how lifted everything looks. Doing cat eyes doesn't mean it has to be smoky and dramatic. We're gonna first contour and lift our eyes using an eyeshadow stick. I always like to start my eyeliner using a pencil on my waterline. I add a bit more product near the end. I take an angled brush like this to wing it out. For the lower lash line, I'm only gonna do the inner corners. I drag it out ever so slightly. Topping off with a brown lip. And this is my version of a subtle cat eye makeup look. Bye!
The internet is constantly churning out new trends, but the latest one has so many people talking, and it is the animal face makeup test trend. So basically, this is a quirky concept where your facial features supposedly determine what animal-inspired makeup look you should try. Answer a few questions about your eye shape, your nose bridge, your lips, your chin, and bam, you're assigned an animal. Is it a cat, a dog, a deer, a fox, a bunny, or even a snake? And when you're assigned this, your makeup is then tailored according to the animal that has been assigned to you.
I was today years old when I learned that we are supposed to be doing our makeup according to our animal type. Stay with me here. By now, we have all heard about fox pretty, deer pretty, cat pretty, blah, blah, blah. And there is a way for you to determine which one you are. First thing that we need to determine is the nose. My nose bridge is low, so I'm going to go with A. Then the lips, I would say I'm definitely in between, but I'm going to go with B, which is big lips. I have a more round face, so I'm going with A. And finally, the eyes. I would say my eyes are a little bit more narrow, so I'm going with B, which would make me fox pretty. I found this fox pretty makeup mood board, and I'm gonna try to do my makeup like this. We are gonna give ourselves the hollow cheeks, and of course, we're snatching our nose. Taking the bronzer, and I'm putting it on top of my contour. I also did a little bit on the forehead and right here. Fox makeup is all about defined facial features. The brows are already soaked up, and I'm filling them in a straight line because we want to get that fox eye. I'm also carving them out with concealer. Fox eyes are all about keeping that straight line, so I'm gonna use tape. I'm using the I Need Warm palette by Natasha Denona. This is Gorgiana. First, I'm blending a transition shade. Then I'm taking this warm brown, pulling out a little warm liner. Then I'm taking a dark brown, and I'm going into the inner corner. Do I look foxy? I'm doing a tiny bit of liner. Then I'm gonna remove the tape. I'm going to use half lashes. Actually want to put them on from underneath. I'm gonna take some eyeshadow, and I'm going to put it right here. I know I'm doing my makeup in a weird order, just bear with me. I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Hello Glow blush, blending it towards my nose. In my mind, the fox has juicy lips. I don't know how to explain it. Using the YSL Candy Glaze lipstick. And in the end, we're gonna do setting spray. What do you guys think? Is it giving fox? I am absolutely loving this. I feel like it suits my features so much. Should I try a different one? And do you think this works?
Let's be clear, I'm not against this challenge. I'm not gonna lie. In fact, I just think it's fun. I tried it and I got assigned a deer and a dog. It's a light-hearted way to just experiment with makeup and explore new aesthetics. But as with many things that go viral, there's more going on beneath the surface than just a cute makeup idea. In reality, this trend is a much larger conversation about the beauty industry, overconsumption, aesthetic, and social media role in shaping our identities. So let's just unpack it, because it's not just about face shapes and animal-inspired looks. It's about how these trends just fit into the big picture of consumerism, subcultures, and the growing environmental impact of our choices. But that being said, let me introduce myself. Hi guys, my name is Joe, and on here I speak about anything I want to speak about, whether they're trendy or not. So if you love video essays, commentaries, reactions, basically I speak about all that. That being said, let's get into the word for today. So the word for today says, dance with the rhythm of life and you'll find harmony in each step. Dance with the rhythm of life and you will find harmony in every step. And this is from my journal the Manifest Your Vision journal is the ultimate guide to journaling. It has original shadow work prompts, brain dump, literally everything you need in journaling. If you want to purchase it, is in my description box and my bio. And that being said, let's get straight into this video. Let's talk about the introduction and the origin of this animal face trend, makeup test trend. So the animal face type trend originated in Korea as a cultural practice of comparing people's facial features to animals. This trend stems from the Korean concept of insang, which refers to how a person's face is portrayed and what it may suggest about their personality. Koreans, they have developed a knack for associating facial characteristics with different animals as a way to describe and categorize various face shapes and features. This practice has become deeply ingrained in Korean beauty culture and entertainment industry.
What type of animal is your face? In South Korea, it is very common to classify faces into animal types. For example, the fox, 여우상, and the puppy, 강아지상, 고양이상, 토끼상. For example, when you talk about your ideal type, you can say, oh, I really like 강아지상, which means you like faces that resemble a puppy. What animal are you? And what animal do you think I am?
This trend likely gained popularity due to its playful nature and its ability to provide a quick, relatable way to describe someone's appearance. It has since spread beyond Korea, becoming a popular topic on social media platforms like TikTok. In Korean culture, these animal comparisons are typically meant as compliments and can even influence perception of someone's personality or charm. For example, being compared to a puppy might suggest a cute and friendly demeanor, while a cat's comparison might imply a more charismatic or fierce appearance. At its core, it's just straightforward. You ask questions about the shape of your eyes, your nose, your chin, and these are features that are often used to categorize faces. And based on your answers, you get assigned an animal. You might get the calm, though I dare, or you might get like a sultry snake or a playful bunny, or any number of animal-inspired face types. For example, I said mine was the deer and dog. Each animal comes with its own suggested makeup techniques to highlight those distinct features. The concept itself is fun and light-hearted. But let's think about what's happening beneath the surface. We've created a trend that we're now categorizing our faces with predetermined types, tying our identities to these labels, and wait for it, consuming more products to fit into these new identities. While the test can be entertaining and give you some makeup ideas, the reality is that it is also nudging us towards consumerism. Makeup tutorials tied to the trends often suggest products, and if you follow these trends, you might find yourself purchasing more beauty products that you don't even really need, simply because the internet told you to.
That straight line, so I'm gonna use tape. I'm using the I Need Warm palette by Natasha Denona. This is Gorgiana. First,
I'm not saying that we should abandon this trend altogether. This is totally far from it. But it's very, very important to acknowledge that this playful challenge is intertwined with larger forces at play in the beauty industry, especially when it comes to marketing, branding, and consumer psychology. It's not just about finding your animal face type. It's about the industry that's encouraging you to look for products to match it. And that's where things get tricky. So now let's talk about aesthetics and subculture. And here we're going to define ourselves through what we consume. Aesthetic has become one of the most important ways to define ourselves today. They just help us craft our identities in a way that feels fresh and exciting. The beauty of aesthetic is that it allows people to tap into certain style or cultural reference that speaks to them, and they offer a sense of belonging in an often chaotic, ever-shifting world. Like me, I like to see myself as an earthy girl. I love nature, so I think I dress and I represent that. Sometimes I may have like a little goth face, not really goth, but like in between sometimes, but most times I'm like more of an earthy girl. I just love to dress earthy. But this is where the line between self-expression and consumption just starts to blur. Take a look at the animal face type makeup trend. You don't just end up with your assigned animal face type. You end up on a journey of discovering about what products you need to create the perfect look. Suddenly, the day makeup you thought was fun just requires a whole new collection of eyeshadow, blushes, and lip gloss to enhance your features. While aesthetic can be a form of personal expression, they are also inherently tied to consumption, and that's where the beauty industry profits from. Obviously, this is nothing new. Aesthetic has always been tied to consumer culture, but with social media, this relationship has only intensified. These trends, whether they're about makeup, fashion, or lifestyle, they serve as both a source of identity and a prompt for endless purchasing. So while it might be tempting to hop onto the latest aesthetic bandwagon, it's also very important to be mindful of the fact that you might be feeding a machine that thrives on overconsumption. Now let's get to the real question. Is following aesthetics and trends inherently harmful? On one hand, it's not that bad, it's not all bad. Trends just allow people to have fun with their styles, to experiment with new looks, and also to express themselves. Again, many of my videos have said how now trends are fads, because before, when it came to trends, they could last longer. But like now, trends just last for 2 weeks, and that's when it becomes a fad. So in my own opinion, I don't think we've had a trend for a long time. I feel like all of these are fads. The Y2K era, that was a trend. Obviously, everything has been categorized into trends, but literally, they're just fads. Does that make sense? There's nothing wrong with experimenting with different makeup looks, trying out new aesthetic, or simply enjoying the creativity that these trends foster. It's an outlet of self-expression, where in many ways is the whole point of beauty. On the other hand, there is a darker side to these trends. As we follow them, we can easily get caught up in a cycle of overconsumption. The more we buy into a trend, the more products we feel compelled to purchase, even if we don't necessarily need them. The beauty industry just capitalizes on this cycle, creating new products, pushing limited edition releases, and sending influencers new products to promote, knowing that we are eager to keep up with the latest look. This is where it starts to get a little toxic. We begin to tie our identity so closely to trends, whether it's about makeup, fashion, or a particular aesthetic. We are essentially becoming consumers first and individuals second. We start to equate our self-worth with how well we can keep up with trends, how many new products we can buy, and how close we can get to the idealized versions of beauty that these trends promote. Now, let's talk about something that's rarely discussed, especially when it comes to beauty trends. And this is the environmental impact of overconsumption. The beauty industry, for all its glitz and glamour, is one of the largest contributors to waste in the world. Think about the sheer amount of packaging that's involved in beauty products. The plastic tubes, the glass jars, the metallic caps, and the single-use applicators. We're consuming more products faster than ever before, and it's not sustainable.
There will be more plastic than fish in the ocean if we don't do something.
But then how is the world not going to just fill up with rubbish and then we're all screwed?
We wanted to show you where your cosmetic products and packaging are ending up.
A lot of the cosmetic products are unrecyclable types of plastic.
Wow. That's ridiculous. Why is it that cosmetic products in particular struggle to be recycled?
So something like this size, is recyclable. This is going to get made into plastic lumber or park benches, something along those lines. Something like this, because of its size and the machinery that's used, even though it might be in a recyclable bottle, it's still full and it's quite heavy, so it probably won't end up with the plastic.
This also has very strong chemicals. This is a foundation. So you have to think about the groundwater contamination coming from products like this that's seeping into the environment. This bottle could probably be recycled, but not this top. Yeah. And there's 552 million shampoo bottles that are discarded annually in the US. So all of these can add up.
Yeah.
Many beauty products, they expire long before they are fully used, and the unused portion often end up in the landfill. Add in the return process. When many people buy products, try them out, and they decide that it does not fit their aesthetic or needs, they decide to return them, especially in America. In the UK, you can't return used makeup. It's not allowed. So once you buy something, you can only return it if you've not opened it. But once you've opened it and used it, it's not allowed. You can't return it. But in America, if you buy makeup and you don't like it or it doesn't match your skin, you can return it. And with this, you have mountains of beauty products that never see the light of the day. These companies, they throw it out, and where does it end up? It ends up in landfill. And what of products in warehouses? Products in warehouses, they just pile up, they expire, and then they're all discarded altogether. The environmental impact is just staggering, and we're often too focused on getting the latest trend to consider what happens to the products that we no longer use. There are some beauty brands that have taken steps towards more sustainable practices. Some have introduced the made-to-order models where products are only created when someone purchases them. This eliminates excess waste. Others are moving towards refillable packaging or using biodegradable materials. These are small steps in the right direction, but the industry as a whole still has a long way to go. As consumers, we also need to be more mindful of our choices. We can't just blindly follow trends without considering the impacts that they have on the environment. Now, let's talk about influencers and social media and how they've reshaped the beauty industry. In the past, we relied on glossy magazines to tell us what was in style. Now we turn to influencers on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube who not only show us how to recreate the latest makeup looks, but also tells us exactly where to buy the products that they are using. It's a new kind of beauty economy, one that thrives on affiliate marketing, sponsored posts, and TikTok shop integrations. While there is nothing inherently wrong with influencer-linked products, I mean, we all need to make a living. The system is just feeding into this cycle of overconsumption. Every influencer is hawking the latest product or tool, and this leads to a constant influx of new beauty items just flooding our feeds. And yes, I'll admit it, I am even currently participating in this system too. I have a whole TikTok storefront where every makeup I put on my face is literally there. And I've linked products, I've recommended must-haves, and I've tried to make a few extra bucks from it too. But here's the catch: as much as we try to promote products we genuinely like, we're also contributing to an ecosystem that thrives on fast consumption and endless product churn. The pressures of keeping up with trends are only amplified by the algorithm that pushes the latest product recommendation, and influencers are forced to keep up, even when it feels like they are losing touch with their authentic self. We are losing sight of real, unfiltered connections in favor of constantly promoting products. Everybody really needs to make money. If you truly believe in a product, there's nothing wrong with any money. But then again, it kind of adds to the overconsumption in the society. It adds to it, but where do you draw the line? Let's talk about beauty journalism and the social media evolution. Let's not forget how much beauty journalism has changed. In the past, major publications would send reporters backstage at runway shows to just get the latest scoop on beauty trends. Magazines like Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, they were the arbiters of beauty, and the world just followed their lead. Now, social media has flipped the script. Magazines and beauty publications, they are scrambling to keep up with the latest trends, and with some of them like writing entire articles based on the viral challenges and TikTok makeup hacks. I was also surprised that no mainstream article wrote about the animal face type makeup test, because I know when it comes to something that's trending on TikTok, you have big publications write about the TikTok trend, but nobody wrote about this. While this has democratized beauty journalism in many ways, it also leads to some serious issues. Publications, they are now in a race to generate traffic, meaning that they often hop on whatever TikTok trend is hot at the moment, even if they don't even fully understand the cultural context behind it. There have been some TikTok trends that have been rooted in racism and anti-Semitism. Now let's talk about the psychological impact of constantly chasing trends. Beauty industry, it thrives on the concept of newness. Whether it's the latest trend, makeup techniques, or a hot new influencer that's promoting the next must-have product. And let's be real, the endless cycle of trends can have psychological impact. We're living in a time where it feels like we're constantly chasing after the next thing, whether it's in beauty, fashion, or lifestyle, and that can be so exhausting. So when our social media feeds are being flooded with people showing off their latest purchases or their makeup look, there is this sense of urgency to keep up. We might begin to feel like we are falling behind if we don't have the same products or we don't have the same looks. And it's not just about looking good, it's also being a part of the community, it's also being a part of fitting in, and in some ways, just feeling validated. The dopamine rush that we get when we try something new or buy a new product that everyone is talking about is real, but it is also fleeting. What happens when we get stuck in this cycle? Over time, it can lead to the feeling of inadequacy, especially if we are constantly comparing ourselves to influencers or strangers online. Beauty standards, whether rooted in specific trends or cultural expectations, can make us feel like we are never quite measuring up. And this is something worth thinking about when we are diving into these trends. Are we participating for fun or self-expression? Or are we doing it because we feel like we have to do it? And now, let's talk about the problem with fast fashion and beauty influence. We can't talk about overconsumption in beauty without acknowledging the role that fast fashion plays in all of this. Fashion and beauty, they have become deeply intertwined, and trends that start on TikTok or Instagram often spill over in both realms. The rapid turnover of fashion trends, clothing collections that seem to be designed for constant consumption has made its way into beauty as well. When we treat beauty products the same way that we treat fast fashion, buying them for the sake of keeping up with the trends only to discard them once they're out of style, we contribute to the same environmental and ethical issues that plague the fashion industry. Overproduction, waste, and exploitative labor practices are all part of the game. But again, with beauty products, the waste is often hidden away in warehouses, returned to stores, or even discarded after being used just a handful of times. And like fashion, these trends are designed to push products out at an ever-increasing rate, ensuring that we're always chasing the next hot item. Brand influencers can push for sustainability, but this requires a massive overhaul in how products are designed, marketed, and consumed. Until then, we need to have more conscious conversations about the role we as consumers play in a world that thrives on constant consumption. Now let's talk about the rise of personal branding and its impact on beauty. The rise of personal branding has played a huge part in reshaping the beauty landscape. Thanks to platforms like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts, everyone can now become their own brand. Whether it's through makeup tutorials, through skincare routines, or fashion hauls, social media just gives people the tools to not only share their personal style, but also to monetize it. In this ecosystem, influencers are more than just people promoting products. They are brands unto themselves, and this has direct impact on how beauty is consumed. We no longer buy products just because they are good or useful. We buy them because an influencer we trust tells us to. Shift the focus from product quality to personality-driven sales tactics. Suddenly, the products themselves are less important than the story they tell. Your face, your persona, and how well you align with a specific aesthetic. But this is a double-edged sword. In some ways, personal branding has democratized beauty, is giving more people the opportunity to become beauty experts without needing the validation of big name publications or brands. But on the flip side, it's led to the rise of buying into people curated identities. Instead of embracing beauty for what it is, we now buy products because they're part of someone else's brand narrative. That brings us to the roles of communities in shaping beauty trends. While social media trends can sometimes feel like they are dictated by a few influencers or mega brands, there is another layer here. and that's the role of communities in shaping and sharing beauty. The internet has given rise to niche groups that celebrate all sorts of beauty, whether it's skeptic makeup styles, skin tones, or cultural beauty rituals that might not be represented in mainstream beauty media. These communities are important because they not only share trends, but they also make beauty feel more inclusive. It's not always about being on cutting edge trends. It's about finding a place where you can truly connect with people who share your aesthetic vision, no matter how obscure or underground it may seem. Let me tell you a story. Oh my god, my microphone. Let me tell you a story. So basically, before coming out and before embracing myself, my sexuality and everything, I really used to dress in ways I never liked, and that was because I just wanted to fit in and be like the standard British UK girl. Like I would wear, then I was like way bigger. I think I was like 35 more kg bigger than what I am. And then I would literally wear like bodycon dresses, clothes that I genuinely did not like because I wanted to fit in. I would get like jackets and things that I did not like, but because I saw how the British girls were dressing, that's how I wanted to dress. And obviously this did a toll on me, my mental health and everything. And I was scared to try clothes that I wanted to try, because when I tried clothes that I liked, people used to look at me like in a very weird place. They'd be like, why would you wear that? Why would you wear that? But honestly, accepting myself and just accepting me for who I am and knowing what my body wants and what I want, I have literally reclaimed my position, reclaimed my aesthetic, reclaimed my style. And I have so many people come up to me telling me, oh my god, you are cool. Like the way you carry yourself is very, very cool. The way you dress is so cool. And honestly, 22-year-old, 21-year-old Jewel would just look back at that and be so proud of herself. Because I thought I had to hide myself. I thought I had to follow trends just to fit in. Meanwhile, I dress how I wanted, and I've truly, truly found my tribe. And this is where platforms like TikTok excel. They let people who aren't necessarily in the spotlight of mainstream beauty media just create their own trends and share their discoveries. The downside, though, is that as these trends go viral, they quickly be co-opted by larger brands and influencers who may not have real connection to the community, turning something once authentic into another commodity. Finally, let's talk about social capital. Social capital is the idea that the more you consume, the more valuable or the more valued you become. Social media, especially on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, they've turned into a status symbol. And it's not just about looking good, it's about showcasing your ability to keep up with trends, buy the latest products, and just curate the perfect looks. This brings us back to the algorithm. The more you engage with beauty content, the more content you're shown, which reinforces the idea that beauty, in all its form, is a reflection of social value. Beauty trends, they become part of the performance of having it all, in a world where aesthetic has become so tied to status. And while some people may view it as a harmless hobby or just a creative outlet, it's also worth considering how this affects our mental health and our self-worth. In many ways, beauty has become a form of currency and is also a way to signal social capital. The pressure to consume the latest trends and products in order to be relevant is part of the larger ecosystem of social media, and this is where identity is often tied to what we buy, what we have, and what we showcase. With all this in mind, it's so clear that the animal face type makeup isn't just about makeup. It's about a reflection of the larger forces that shapes our identity and consumer behavior in today's world. So yes, play with your animal face, try on some new makeup techniques, and have fun. But also take a moment to reflect on the bigger picture. What trends are you really following? And what are they asking you to consume in the process? I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I don't think like any major publication have posted about this makeup trend. And I promise you, when they post about it, they would not come out and say that it originates from South Korea. Because first of all, they miss out the true origin from it and just profit on what they think is consumable. And in conclusion, the animal face type makeup test is just one small piece of a much larger puzzle. It's a fun trend, yes, but it's also a reminder of the broader issues of overconsumption, the impact of social media on beauty, and the environmental damage that are being caused by the beauty industry. It's a challenge to navigate this world, especially when algorithm and consumer culture are pushing us to consume more and more. Key takeaway is that it's okay to experiment with trends, it's okay to explore new aesthetic, but we need to be so mindful. We need to make smarter, more sustainable choices, and we need to understand the bigger picture of how trends, consumerism, and social media interact. And maybe, just maybe, we can stop letting capitalism dictate our self-worth. If you guys notice, most times I repeat my clothes when I'm coming to give my video because I have a washing machine and I have a drying rack that I dry my clothes. So repeat that clothes, wear your makeup. Literally, you can be creative in makeup. When your makeup expires, discard of it, but discard of it properly. Recycle your shit. Always recycle, and if there's any clothes you don't want, take it to charity, or if it's too bad for charity, put it in the recycle bin. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts on the animal face test, makeup test, and any other trend that you think might deserve a closer look. Also, don't forget to check out my TikTok shop. I'm just kidding, or am I? But thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, please like, subscribe, and leave a circle emoji. Thank you so much. Until next time. Bye.